What up, everybody? I know you can't see me. My Mac is turning on so you can see. Um, you know, I don't know why my phone wants to treat my computer as a hotspot, but there we go. We bright. I'm like mad late, of course, but we here. Oh, messing up. We gonna get it popping. Y'all live at the Rona Project update number 2. This is the second time I'm doing this, hosted by the wonderful. Hey, what up?
Yo.
You already know.
I was like, oh, it's just, 8:38. It's
I
fine.
know your. I know your. I like your crew neck.
Oh, yeah. Just had to do it.
I don't have enough light in the background because I took those other lights out, but I think people could see me and they could hear me, so we should be good.
All right. Well, what day is today? Well, Wednesday. Happy Wednesday.
Hello, thank you. Happy Hump Day. Ain't that what they call it?
Maybe. Cheers. What are you drinking? I was like, we should totally turn this into Wednesday hump day happy hour since no one can go outside. So people should join
That's
with a drink of
cool.
their choice. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Canadian Seagrams. It's weird. VO. That's what I drink.
Perfect. I'm drinking a cab. It
Uh,
explains it. It's perfect.
give me a second. Let me throw on the light. My mom's like, "Yo, I can't see."
All right.
And it's weird because now I don't know what I did with all those lights.
Oh, you should play the song while you're doing this. Oh, okay. All right. You can.
Make it happen, Captain.
Why am I in my head? I don't know if it's gonna work or if you'll hear it good enough. Let's see.
Just rig that in there.
Can you hear it or no?
Yeah.
All right. You ready?
Yeah. Let's get it cracking. No, this is not a listening party.
You
My
say you look set together.
my
You
set was cool. I just switched it up. I switched
you
it
know
up.
what though? Like entrepreneur life, which we're about to get into, it's all about just like being able to like make things happen in the moment. Everything ain't always gonna be prepared. That is what I'm learning.
Thank
You know
you.
what I mean? Like you're like, I thought it was gonna be fine, but here we go. All right. So first off, love everyone who's joining in. Um, my name is Kameale Christina. Some people know me by Chris. Some people know me by Kameale. It's it is what it is. Um, and yeah, I'm joined here for update number 2 with Daniel Johnson, D. Steezy, focused around the Rona Project. And I wanted to touch on this, Daniel, because I want us to hop right in. I think it's something that we've been talking about a lot. Um, is yeah, like I think we're gonna touch on it. I want to talk about the song. I want to talk about the project more, but then a lot of what I want to focus on today is kind of like this common ground of like the artist and like the tech entrepreneur, and yeah. But before I start, the one thing I wanted to ask you, it's been a month. So, like, what's three things you've done with the Rona Project in the last month? The top three things. The top three things that you've
Top
done.
the top three things is release another record called Appetite. Did that at
All
12
right.
a.m. today, all platforms. And I started a record label from scratch, like legit. I have my own record label. Um,
Say it again.
I have my own record label. And
Slight work.
collaborate with other artists. I'm trying to bring people in, so I think those are my top three. It's very exciting.
All right. So let's start with Appetite. If folks haven't heard it, it's on all platforms, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And legit, like I've been listening to that song over and over. I wish it was longer. Uh, but I think we just start there, like like if you could talk to like who's on that song, where did the beat come from, like the person, where was it recorded at? Just like walk us through like that whole process of Appetite ended up launching last night. Yeah, what was that process like?
It was a unique process. So I've been recording and rapping for a while. Um, and I received that record I think a year and a half, 2 years ago from the homie Daryn Christopher, who was in the studio. It's a full-fledged song he already had called Bedroom, I believe it was called. And so I remember I was in the studio and it was one of those songs he was just sitting on. And so I was like, yo, let me get that. And so I heard it. I immediately fell in love with it. I wanted it. And being who I am, me being in the studio, he showed me some love. He said, go ahead. I had that record. I sat on it. I didn't know what to write to it. This year, I was writing to it. It came to me easily. I didn't want to do anything like raunchy. I didn't want to go crazy with it. I didn't want to be overly explicit. I wanted something that people could digest and like tell a story about somebody coming over. And then here we are today. I launched it today at 12 a.m. I recorded it probably in April sometime in my home studio. He recorded it in Santa Monica at the Pico Youth and Family Center, I believe. And from there, we made history.
But why did it take so long for you to launch it? Like if you had it like a year and a half ago.
Well, a lot of my art pieces, as I like to call them, I sit on because I believe in timeless like records or timeless music. If it's something I could go to sleep with, I'll I believe it's a hit. If I could play it while I'm sleeping, I believe it's a hit, right? And so for that one, it had a gap for my verse, and just listening to it, I think I wanted to angle it in a particular way that was very like authentic to myself and my experience, right? To a love song, an R&B song. And so I just had to sit with it until it just became second nature, and then I did it.
And then why is that the second song that you released? So you had two braids. Is there like a reason behind like why that's like the second song that comes out off the Rona project?
Yes, that's a good question. Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
if those that can follow my story in terms of releasing this music, I release some music on SoundCloud. I release some music on all platforms. I try to create them evenly, meaning like they have intention behind them. They get mixed and mastered, and I try to put like my best foot forward when I create it. And so that song during the listening party, folks was like, "Yo, that sounds like a single." And so for me, I rather put that on all platforms versus just putting it on SoundCloud. So there's a method to the madness, excuse me. However, moving forward, Two Braids and Appetite will be available on SoundCloud because it's free, you know.
Got it. All right. Before I get into that, I know a lot of people want to know like is who is the song about, Daniel? People want to know. They're like, who walking up your stairs? Like is it him?
Um, a lot of my music does have to do with a particular person in mind. However, this one in particular, there is some pieces in there, some elements of an individual, but more so, I was just telling a story about, somebody coming up the stairs, coming to the crib, they wanting their needs met, and I'm here to fulfill them. So there's no one in particular, but there are some elements again of the song.
And when you're coming up with like your song, like when you're writing, like are you taking out like what's that? Yeah, like what is your writing process? I want to include this person or I want to include that, or does it kind of just like flow out?
It's twofold. It flows out, but in particular, all I write is real shit at the moment. I have yet to really tell a fictional story on record in a
Hmm.
verse where it's just storytelling. You know what I mean? So at this very moment, the records that you get, the verses you get, probably from here on out, is really it's realistic. So this one is kind of part story and realism to it as well, fiction and fact. But that's where folks to decipher on their own.
And then how long does it like how long is your writing process? Do you usually have to like do multiple drafts or like how does that usually look for you? Or with this
Uh,
song in particular, like did you have to do like multiple drafts on this song?
no, on this one I didn't do multiple drafts, but shout out to Miss Kimberly Williams, my colleague, my coworker, my best friend. She gonna be my best man at my wedding. Um, and then shout out to Gina too. Gina was there, so when I was writing, I uh, I was writing it, and then of course I do this thing where I just get stuck, and I don't get stuck on writer's block. I get stuck on how I write and how I want to
Mm.
communicate. So at one point I was like, Kim, I'm just trying to get this woman through the front door. Trying to, she done walked up the stairs. She told me she was here. Like I'm just stuck. Like, and Kim dropped some gems for me, and so the rest was history.
That's dope. That's
Yeah.
dope. And so you kind of touched on it here, and then you also touched on it a little bit later. If you can just like talk to like all the people that have been helping you so far with your project, whether it's like organizations or places where you're recording at, just like who are those people that have been like uplifting you and like helping you through this?
Man, there's multiple peoples. I'm gonna start off with Julian Ayala, aka So Real, my producer, number one producer on the West Coast, straight out of Santa Monica. We got Nuisance, who's the engineered some of the records that are soon to come out. We got Pookie Spitz, that's the big homie from the hood. He on some records. My little brother C Wins, he on records. Again, Daryn Christopher, thank you for blessing me with Bedroom, aka Appetite. And then who else? Got Uriel the Light, aka Knee High. Um, we got Miss Williams who helped me with a couple bars. You know, we got you who's around that bang my music and tell me if it's whack or not. We got Regina, we got the family, we got everybody. Everybody's.
And
It's not just my project; it's everybody's project.
and so I guess like on that same note, like I love for you to like just speak to yeah, like what's been hard? Like I'm sure being in quarantine, like that's the whole thing about the Rona Project. One of the reasons why I've been like interested to like follow what you're doing and follow the Rona Project because it's like it with art, like usually people gotta be outside or you gotta like have like experiences to create content, but you're building all of this stuff while like the entire world is on lockdown. So like how like what has been like hard or what has been like difficult for you?
What has been difficult will be some experience. I believe like you need to have experience when it comes into like making sure you create art, right? And so at times I can be depleted, but it's not depleted because of material. It's like how do I want to convey this message? How do I want to share my experiences that I've been through before this project came to light, during this project coming to light, and what am I experiencing in the now, right?
Hmm.
And so I think the most I do to get out is like I go see moon rises and sunsets. I don't know if folks go see the moonrise, but I do. I don't know if folks go see the sunset. I do. I live by the beach. I go to the beach. And then, it's multiple people in my life, friends, and other folks that just inspire it because, like, whether it's relationships, whether it's friend, intimacy, family, I'm talking about it at the end of the day.
No, that's decent. All right, so let's get into this record label. I mean, like the last time we was just talking about the Rona Project. Uh, now I've been given an opportunity to talk about this record label. Uh, so go ahead, yeah, tell us a little bit about your record label. Let's just start
So,
there.
appreciate you. So, the record label was something I didn't really want to announce until later. Um, when it came down to like owning my masters, when it came down to like publishing the records, when it came down to like having a actual entity, starting a business, I already had a sole proprietorship, 25/8, which was a creative agency. So I was doing logos and graphics for the low,
Hmm.
$50. I was like, as long as I give $50, I was doing $10 deposits ample amount of work with at least a 2 to 3 day turnaround. I mean, I was like just doing it, right? Um, so what came up for me was like create a record label. So I dissolved the sole proprietorship. I flipped it to an LLC. And the reason why I had to do that was because there was more things tied to it. Again, a publishing company, a record label, owning my masters, featuring folks, making sure I had full control over my music and then distributing it out. So I wanted to make sure I also had an entity where I could create a blueprint for my friends who do music as well and say, yo, come over here, come be a part of 25/8 for about a year or two. You can own everything, but follow my blueprint, follow my footsteps, and we're gonna get
Hmm.
you set up too, just like I'm set up.
And like, how did you even figure all that out? Like how did you even know what to do?
Uh, it's a long time coming. Let's say I think we've been doing this OCD out of control dude since 2009. I've always been one who thinks and overthink. I'm a overthinker, and so a lot of this has been dormant. You know, I've been going through my years, not really rapping, just still looking up information and processes like how should I do this? How should I go about that? And from there, I just implemented it all. Even to this day, I stay up late, probably don't go to sleep till 4 a.m. sometimes, go to sleep at 1:30 in the morning because I'm looking up the information, I'm researching the information, I'm implementing the information, and I'm storing the information. And again, my hats go off, my bandana goes off to Regina, my administrative assistant. She's like she's phenomenal at what she does and very supportive. And I need the help. I need the support. And then I have you as well and your company, um, Charge Your Help, where you're able to offer guidance in terms of starting a business as well, right? You have the tech side, I have the music side. Operating and owning a business, the structure is still the same.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, we should just take a moment and thank Regina. Cause so Regina is also my executive assistant and she saves my life every day. So shout out to Regina. If you need help for any like hit her up and pay her. There you go. No, that's dope. I think like so I guess what if there's somebody so like what makes you want to do a label? I think like that's the thing. Like there's a lot of people who want to be an artist, but like what puts you to a space where you want to cross over to have a label? Like if somebody's like thinking about it, like what would be that kind of like question that they should be asking themselves?
So it's not, at the end of the day, what I come to find out through data and like information, all that owning your product and your material is amazing.
Hmm.
It's amazing. But engaging in a system, you need to have a system. And that system or that machine has to be oiled, lubricated, greased up, ready to go. And so as I'm sitting here doing these things as an individual in 2020, it's amazing to do your own graphics. It's
Right.
amazing to produce your own records. It's amazing to release your own records. It's amazing to say, I got it. But that's burnout. You know what I mean? I don't have a machine. I am the machine. And so what I'm actually trying to do is set up everyone around me and set up this system around me. So all I have to do is create these records. Because the most important part is the records, right?
Right.
I can't do anything. I can't have a business without records. I can't, I just can't. And so with that understanding, I said, yo, I'm about to create this machine and we're going to hustle and we're going to do this 25/8.
And I think like I really want to touch on just like on how much work that is, right? Like I think I was telling you the story when I first launched my company back in January. I was working out of the WeWork downtown, and I had brought one of my friends through, and it was like Friday at like 8, and I'm like working, and he's working, and there was nobody there. And like in this day and age, like everybody want to do a startup, everybody want to own their own business, but it's like Friday at 8, and this is pre-corona, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
January, and ain't nobody there. And so I would love for you to, yeah, just talk about just like the work that you have to put in for this, in order to make this thing happen. Because it's one thing to be like, oh, I want to start a record label, or oh, I want to start a tech company, but it's another thing to actually do it. So I would love for you to kind of like talk to like to that.
So what comes with starting your own business, it's like this fairy tale imagination and like dream people have.
Right.
I'm really trying to understand that or come to terms with. I don't have dreams. It's all a reality, and I have to just do it, right? When it comes to starting this business or leaving a job, right? I haven't left my job. So I have a full-time commitment to the community, to developing young leaders of like tomorrow, today, like legit. I'm talking about social justice issues. I'm talking about coaching folks. I'm talking about doing real work with individuals and a team of three beautiful women that support me no matter what, and I support them at work, right? But only on company and starting your business, that's where the real grind works. So when folks work a 9 to 5 and they're talking about that 9 to 5 hustle and they're like, I can't work for nobody, it's kind of like, well, that's cool, but try working for yourself because that's
That
when it's
part.
really gonna happen.
I'm gonna take 5 sips to that.
I ain't mad at you. Look, I'll take a shot. Because at the end of the day, like on the realest thing I think I could say, at the end of the day, you don't get paid for starting your own business. I don't
Right.
see no return on investment. Regina is getting paid no matter what, and I'm gonna make sure she gets paid no matter what because there's work that needs to be done, and there's work it's work that she'll get paid for. Like again, she knows how to copyright my records, right? She knows how to distribute my records, right? Um, she knows how to do these things because I went through that process and I walked her through that process. So if Gina makes like a record label called 24/7, I'm suing her.
Well, that's it's so true what you're saying. I think a lot of people definitely think like, oh yeah, I could just like go work for yourself. Like even to this day, like with my company, we haven't cut no check. I cut checks to so many people. At the end of the month, I'm just like, damn, everybody getting paid. We got some money the other day, and I was like, this is for everyone else. So it's definitely not a
how
glamorous
how
thing.
much you get?
We got enough. This ain't about me. All right.
I'm trying to
But
get
what
like you.
but what I wanted to talk to too is just like, do you have people that like maybe aren't rooting for you or that you feel like you have to like prove something to or like are you seeing that as well in your process?
So I haven't. Yeah, yeah. You know what? You know what threw me for a loop was my little brother was like, "Yo, I think we're gonna have to start a record label," and I was like, "I have one." And the response I got, I felt like wasn't as exciting as it should have been, right? It
Mm,
came with questions. It came with like, how are you sure? Like, how do you know? Like, and I didn't feel like it was shade. I felt like it was curiosity and somebody wanted to know, like, are you really doing this? Right? And I stay at home, so of course I'm developing something and I don't really talk too much about it. And then plus I gave majority of everybody an NDA at the end of the day. So if you want to test that NDA, go ahead. I'll send some paperwork to you real quick. Um, so that's part of the process. But at least for the homies around me that do music, they get charged up. They ready to go. They like, oh, he going, I'm going. And so shout out to Pookie Spitz, the big homie. Um, and once he found out I was back in the game and I was doing this and he sees everything moving, it just put like a battery in his back. He ready to
mm,
go. He ready to go. My boy, So Real, he's ready to go. And Ashley Carter, um, she's another one. She does interviews, documentaries, and things like that. So I keep pushing her back on accident, but like it's gonna be go time for her as well. So my goal is to work with everybody and let's put us all under one umbrella. Keep your businesses, work with me, and we're gonna make it happen.
so on that note, like are you currently looking for features? I'm always like, what you looking for, like if people want to help out or like what you
I'm
looking for right now?
I'm looking for everybody. It's features, videographers, producers, like um people that would like to conduct interviews, people that would like to take
You trying to replace
photography.
me?
Never that. You already know we locked in for like the rest of the year and we're gonna be locked in for a whole nother two. You're gonna get another contract. But yeah, like I'm just looking for anybody that want to get involved and would like for me to get involved with their projects as well. Like we
Right.
could we could do it.
And I actually before one of the things that you had said earlier is just like a lot of your social justice work. And for me, like one of the reasons why I like your work, and even with Appetite, it was like it felt like a grown and sexy song. And as a woman, I didn't feel like objectified. You know what I mean? I was like, that's real cute. You know what I mean? So like I guess if you want to talk to just like how much the work that you do in the community kind of like plays into how you approach songs and like general topics.
Again, my day in and day out is very social justice oriented. And I have values. I'm not saying these values are 100% influential to how I create music, right? But they're just there. And I think I have a habit, or I should say a knack for just writing clean. I might say nigga, because that's like in my normal everyday conversations. I say that all day. But when it comes down to like, cuss words in general, I might not use them all the time. You know what I mean? And then when it came to this one particular record, I just didn't want it to be that raunchy. I wanted to tell a
Mhm.
story. I wanted people to think about it. The song, the chorus already says, "I'm gonna feed you to my bedroom." People could interpret that the way they want to, right? And so my goal was just to like, you know, let's let's make it crack. Let's get it popping, but let's get it popping in a way that's like, grown, sexy, smooth, like, you know, we chilling. It don't have to be like, oh, we just straight going at it. Like, nah, let's let's get it ready. Let's make it work. Let's make it happen. Mm.
Cool.
And as
Huh.
I'm thinking too, like I can't forget I'm from the streets, I'm from the hood. So those things do come up, but I still try to do those in a way of like, being respectful to the hood, being respectful to the streets, and being respectful to the values in the way I was like um trained in social justice.
So what's next? Like, what else can we expect? I feel like we're going through this journey of all your songs. So like, and it's cool because like with the Rona Project and this the sweatshirt, y'all should cop the merch. We got this person on the car, so I feel like we in the car with you. We in your little cutlass, and we all just driving. You know what I mean? Little pit stops.
Yeah.
So like, what are like where are we going next with the Rona Project? What else should we be expecting in the next like 2 to 3 months?
Next 2 to 3 months. Next month I have this record about me being in the hood called I'm Bleeding. That's going to drop the last Friday of August, I believe. Is you know what? I ain't gonna do the date because I don't know off top. It's like the 28th or the 25th. Forgive me for not knowing off top. Um, then there's another, that's August, September. There's a record I have called Hating. That's the one where I'm getting the responses of like negativity. And I'm just, spewing that experience out. Then in October, I have a wonderful record featuring She Wins and my big homie Pook called Where I'm From. That one's a little darker. It's about being from the streets. Um, I basically have everything laid out leading up to December 30th, my favorite day in the year, and that's the EP. So I'm working on that, and then I already got plans for February. I already have plans for March, and I already have plans for next summer. I have the next 2 years already laid out on paper.
That's so dope. All right. I'm gonna go with one more question. But yeah, I just want to give you some love, man. I think that what you're doing is not easy. I think that having a full-time job and also doing what you're doing is not easy. Like I had to quit my job to focus on one thing. So it's real cool to see that you're still excelling at work and still building out your company. Um, yeah, I think it's dope. I love the way that you're approaching. Somebody say, get the bag. Yes, get the
That's
bag.
my boy, so real right there.
Yeah, so I guess like with the last question, is there anything that you want to share with us or you think that's important for us to know as we continue to engage with this project?
Yeah, I think for me it's all about data. And so if there's free game for me to give today to anybody that's listening, starting their own business, listening to my records, you can't do anything without data. So when it
Hmm.
comes to my music or music in general, stream it. If you want to buy it for the 99 cent, please do it. I don't know if the record will move unless people stream it. People won't identify with the record unless it streams, right? And so I'm really trying to figure that out. And the number one way you can support me by doing that is either streaming it or purchasing the record. In return, I have gifts for everybody. The Rona packs that should be shipping
Oh
out next
yeah.
month. Um, and make sure you collect your own data for sure, for sure. You have to make sure you know who's purchasing your things. You have to make sure you have to identify where they're purchasing it from. You have to collect that information so in return you can give back. And so that's my number one thing to do with this project. Like everyone here on this Instagram live opportunity here with me and you. If I had their information, they'll get a they'll get a Rona pack off top.
Right.
They'll get a Rona pack, like only because they engaged. They either liked it, they tuned in, they streamed the song, and all they got to do is send me proof and the address, and that Rona pack is over there. Like that's my thank you. That's my gratitude for being supported.
And that's such a huge deal because like I feel like a lot of people don't understand like just because you create art, like how much of a business everything is. You know,
Hmm.
at the end of the day, it's like you can either like create art for yourself and you think it's a cute, but like if you actually want to be a part of the industry, like it is the streams. You can't like make a song and not upload it somewhere and not get streams. Because how much is it with Spotify? Like how much can you make off of Spotify based on the streams? I know you was looking at that the other day.
Streaming is critical, and it's not what the bread and butter is. I think on an average, artists make probably about like 0.0086 cents on the dollar for 150 spins. Like
Hmm.
Two Braids only has about 145 spins on Spotify, right? So I'm not seeing nothing in return. Um, I told my little brother Wins the other day, like it's crazy because out of I went to the studio last weekend or 2 weekends ago. I can't remember at this point. At like 3 a.m. I took O3 with me. I took Julian with me. You came through. We took some more homies. Nuisance was the engineer. And so at the end of the day, out of pocket, I dropped $150 for us to be there and to get out at like 6, 7 a.m., right? And
Hmm.
so I need to make that $150 back. And at this one moment, what up, DJ Scumbag? That's my DJ right there. I love you to death. Thank you for tuning in. Um, with that being said, I have yet to make $150 off streaming. When I
Right.
hit that point of where I could at least make $120 or just $20 off streaming, I know I'm building. I know I'm going. And so right now I'm not seeing the return, right? It's not for the love of the art. It's just really just trying to figure out the business side.
Yeah, and it's the ramp up. You know what I mean? Like even with like on our side, like we're not seeing any revenue. All I do is kick out money to people.
Hmm.
Regina, no, I'm just kidding.
Right,
All I do is
right.
pay people all the day. But I do like that's a part of the investment, and I think like that's the whole point. Like we were talking about earlier, like you really got to stick with it. I always tell people like fast money is never good money. I promise you, because it's always some weird shit, some weird stuff that you got that's tied up to it. Like if you have to like invest and stick with something like that long term, that's even in investments. Like longer term investments, like you're gonna bring more yield. So it's important to understand that. And I do think that sometimes people feel like just because they make music, a whole bunch of people are gonna listen to it, and all of a sudden they're gonna blow up. Like I feel like people would like forget that it like takes time.
No, I hear you. And so one of the unique things I've been doing, right, and this is very critical because my Rona project was actually a diary, and I share this with folks. It was a diary. And so for me, it was interesting that when I opened up my diary, people wanted to critique it, right?
Mm,
And I had to sit with that because that critique was them critiquing me as an artist, not critiquing me as a person sharing his diary, right?
right.
And so I had to come to terms with that. It's
Yeah.
like, bro, you're an artist now. You have a diary that you're showing folks, and folks want to like tell you what you're writing in your diary. You should write it this way, or you should sound like this in your diary. And it trips me out when I think like that because it's real. It's real shit for me, right? It's like, oh, I just rapped about heartbreak because I wrote it in my diary the other day and I put it on the record. Here you go. And people are like, yo, bro, the way you said you fell in love is not it's not cool. And I'm like, bruh, like, give me my diary back. You know what I
Right.
mean? But
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
I have to sit with that. I'm an artist now before anything. So who cares about my diary? We care about the art. And so what I wanted to say is the unique thing that I've been doing is actually been hitting folks up individually, personally, saying, hey, I have these records and I'm open to your feedback. And the
Hmm.
feedback I've been getting is great. People are very critical, but they're critical in support of what I've created. And it's going to make me a better artist because, again, I'm collecting data. I'm collecting
Right.
data and I'm here for the people and the people are here for me.
But okay, so like for me, I've been working on my investor deck, and my co-founder just joined. And one of the things I finally had to get used to is just being like you just get so much feedback, like it's so much, and like at what point are you just like, this is just the way I do my shit? Like, I feel like I've been battling with that, being able to like listen to people's feedback, but then also be like, a lot of people didn't believe in like Steve Jobs, or a lot of people didn't believe this person, or a lot of people didn't believe in Oprah and gave her poor feedback, but like she just had, or these people had to believe in themselves and be like, well, this is the way that I'm gonna do it. So like, how do you kind of like detangle all of that?
Well, so one unique way is that I'm learning. So I began to do this to build more confidence. Like I have a lot of confidence. And so with doing this, I had to make sure, one, I'm okay with self, right?
Hmm.
This is what I'm creating. This is the best I can create, right? Then I had to take it a step further and be open to other people saying, yo, I like the way you made that circle, but you could make that circle more perfect by doing this. Like, excuse me. And so once I understood that in terms of feedback and it being valuable, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back and make that circle the way you said it, because that circle is only gonna become better if I listen to like the improvements that are needed, right?
But how do you know like what people to listen to though? Like some people, you just like, you know what I mean? Like, are you listening to everybody, or like, how do you know like who to listen to and not to listen to?
I trust in the people around me to tell me like 100% what it is. Like, honest feedback is 100% what I enjoy. And all of these people are close to me. So a lot of people that even came on today or come on tomorrow or listen are people I actually really, really, really know.
Hmm.
So they're not going to troll me. And the fact that they took their time out to listen to it. So again, before when I had my diary, people didn't know it was a diary.
Right,
People were like, yo, like this is a song, like I'm about to critique it.
right,
But as I developed the conversation and I sent it to my loved ones, family, friends, or whoever that I know, acquaintances and things like that, right? I shared that information and it was never negative. They were like, okay, I see. You know, there's some folks and there's some records I just can't do nothing with. Two braids I did in less than 24 hours. I could go redo that whole record and re-upload it. But right now it's kind of like a moot point for me, right?
right,
But I'm still taking in that feedback because on the sneak tip, on the low, I might really go back and redo that record based on the feedback I received because the responses I got wasn't bad, right?
right.
It wasn't negative. Somebody was just like, yo, that shit trash. I'll question that, right?
Hmm.
Or I just might like it, the record enough to say, okay, I hear you, but I'm gonna leave it like this because I actually
Right,
like it. You know what I mean? And so I think it takes the individual to be comfortable in their own skin to just know this is the way I wanted to do it. Also, on the other side of it, what I've learned to do with people around me is that if I draw a certain way and I'm stuck in drawing that certain way, I have to communicate to somebody how to improve their drawing based on how they draw.
right.
I can't tell you to
Just
demolish the
impose. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so I think that's very helpful with me being around the artists that I'm around and the folks that come and record at my house for their own records. It's never me telling them how they should do it. It's more so how they can improve in what they're already doing. And
Right,
so when people approach me like that in terms of my music and my art, I love it because I'm like, okay, you saw my vision, you heard my vision, and you're telling me how I can make this better.
right. And so, like, you know, one of the things I do notice is like you have different sounds on different songs. Like, I hear like Two Braids has a different sound, and then this one has a different sound. Like, are you still trying to figure out what your sound is, or this is kind of like you? Well, I guess I take a step back. I think it was, I forgot who it was I was listening to the other day, and they're like, they intentionally just do different sounds for different records. That's just how they work. So, is it an intentional thing, or are you still just trying to figure out like your sound?
It's both. So it's intentional because of versatility. However, I just let it flow on whatever track it is. But I know personally like what it is in terms of my sound or my flow, just based on the way my lyrical pattern is,
Hmm.
or yeah, really my lyrical pattern, like the structure of how I write. I'm like, okay, wow, like I'm understanding that more, and but it's translating still differently in versatility when it comes to certain records, right? And so I'm catching on to that. So my sound is coming at the same time, but in terms of sound, like the actual, you know what? What I can think at the top of my head is my sound will always be versatile because of So Real is that much of a versatile producer. So when we
Mm-hmm.
did Two Braids, I already had a record about me being in the hood. When I'm doing records with Flora Chavez, I love her to death. Shout out to her. That pushed my pen in a way I could never even think of, like making those
Mm-hmm.
type of songs we made, which are like relationship songs, love songs, and things like that. So um, yeah, I think in terms of lyrical pattern, like I'm discovering that more, but the versatility will always be there because I believe like once you know how to write, you can write to anything.
That's what's up.
So this is my like growth and development phase. Like my artist development, they don't do artist development. So I'm just opening the doors and putting the cameras on so everybody could just see me grow and develop. And
Are there
everybody
any
could say, like, you did it because I supported you. And I'm like, yes.
are there any artists or folks that you've been seeing up and coming that you want to work with?
Um, there's a lot of folks. I mean, the world is like has a plethora of folks. Um, yeah. I'm gonna name them now. Joaquin, young Jose Joaquin. I used to live in South Central in the hood, and there's a young Latinx dude that stayed in the back. He started rapping. I introduced him to Soul Real, and right now that little youngster's hot. He's hot. He's hot, and I want to work with him. And I hopped on the record with him before. He sent me two records today. He gonna get those back by Saturday, and that's one of the dudes I know I want to take under my wing because he's still going. Consistency is key in this thing and anything you
Mm-hmm.
do, right? And so for him, he has a lot of records on YouTube. He has records he's putting out on SoundCloud. They're not getting that push and attention. So I'm like, come over here, 25A. We're gonna make you proper. We're gonna set you up nice because I believe in that little dude. Like I believe he has something going for him. And I want to do a couple reggaeton tracks with him. I want to
Oh
do
yeah.
like you know, I want to do a lot with him. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh, cool. All right. That's all the questions I have, my friend.
I appreciate you. If anybody has questions, just put them in the box, or it's like this little question thing down there. I think you could use.
Oh yeah. Put them down there. Let's see. People said that's called growth. Love to hear how open you are to constructive criticism. The music will truly develop. Very excited.
That's
That
my
was something
cousin
like
right there.
that.
Appreciate you,
Yeah.
cousin. But this really, I mean, this process is a long process. Again, Nipsey said it best. It's the marathon. I think there's another artist I actually want to work with, Paul Ciano, um, over there in the '60s. I remember seeing him back in the day in Santa Monica in the studio, and he has a clothing line called Player,
Mm.
Everything Player, and that's another dude I want to work with. I haven't reached out to him. Of course, all my brothers, Domino in Atlanta. I'm gonna fly out there one day and get records with him. Pookie Spits, C Wins, like um, everybody around me, and then a lot of people on Instagram. Like, there's a lot of phenomenal people on Instagram,
Yeah.
and they don't know yet, but I'm coming full force, knocking on their doors, sliding in their DMs, like we making a record. Like I'm not
Yes.
asking, I'm telling, because I believe like if you make dope shit, dope people deserve to hear it, and so that's my goal. 25/8 is really literally a label that's supposed to help artists develop and build up their brands so that they could fly it and do their own thing. That's my only goal. My goal is to create stars at this point, whether they're local or national. We're gonna figure it out and we're gonna get some buzz popping. So that's really the goal at the end of the day.
That's dope, man. I feel like we all gonna be looking back on these videos and be like, look at us in the beginning. Oh shoot. I do want to say it would be really cool. I was talking to somebody the other day about just like, featuring other people's like clothing brands or like you got alcohol brands. I feel like there's a lot that we can do like with this space. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a no brainer. I mean, even with clothing, right? I have my Rona project, like, you
Everyone
know,
should go buy. Can they still buy it?
yeah, they could buy it on the bonfire. I have my own merchandise, but the homie, shout out to SB, he has a line he's creating called Living Legends. Um, and for him, I told him the same thing. Like he raps too, he's part of the OCD group, but I told him as well, like if you want to do a clothing line, I'll set you up. I'll put some money. I'll help start you off. I want to collaborate with you on my merchandise moving forward for the label, for the other artists I'm working with. You could be the creative director, whatever you need to do for that. But I'm gonna set you up with a business. so that again we'll work together. We create that blueprint. We create that model. And if your line is too close to being with 25/8 and people only know your line because of 25/8, then you already had a formula, the blueprint to start up another brand that has nothing
Right.
to do with us as a group, and you can make that happen for yourself, right? And so that's the goal. Again, the goal is to create more entrepreneurs. The goal is to like not keep all the secrets, but give them to build other folks up. That's the number one move I'm trying to make.
I think
But
that's so dope.
it's only gonna happen 25/8 though. It ain't gonna like not because of the label, but because we gotta put the work in.
Yeah.
Think that's something else. Like I forgot to share. It's like I'm coming to this understanding of catalog. Like what is my catalog? What people see me producing and putting out now is because I don't have a body of work. So what you're
Mhm.
seeing with my growth and development phase, my artist development phase, is me creating a body of work that people could refer to while I stack up a catalog that people have yet to hear. And so that's another free game I just gave folks right there is that this I'm not in it like I've know people that just create records to create records and they create records to be cool and they create
Right.
records so like I could get the next girl or I could get the homies like, oh, listen to my record. Like, nah, I'm understanding that if this is something serious I want to do, if I want to make that $100 off streams, if I want to make that $1,000 a month off streams, right? I have to put my best foot forward and have an actual catalog that I could drop when I need to. I could approach people if I need to and get things done. And so I'm looking at it from a different lens. And a lot of people around me are just now, they're not even there yet. They're not even
Right.
there yet. And so that's an interesting thing to know. Like I blew past a lot of people, and I say that with the utmost respect. And like I said last time, there is no competition with me. I'm not trying to compete. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. I will be consistent. I will say that I'm not gonna fall off. But then at
Right.
the end of the day, it's just sticking to it, just trying to make it happen, you
All
know?
right now. Yeah. No, that's dope, man. I think like I hope that's one thing that people take away from all of this is like probably two things. I think the first is that there's a lot more to being an artist. I think that
Hmm.
folks they don't realize that. And and it sucks, you know what I mean? Because like it sucks that people don't understand that. I think and then the other part is just understanding the ways in which like you can help people and that you understand what's going on and then you learn really quickly. I think like that's the one thing that people you always got to find somebody on your team that can like digest information and implement quickly. And not everybody's like that. And just because you're not like that doesn't mean that that's no fault to you, but you should find somebody like that. And so, yeah, it's been amazing to see you work and just like figure stuff out. Um, yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
again, I wouldn't be here without the love and support. Like I just wouldn't be here without the love and support. Like it's 100% like my investment to those folks who are investing in me. Like I've been making music, but I haven't continuously did it. Like, you know what I mean? And now I'm doing it.
right.
Um, I invested in business since a long time ago. I've always wanted to start a business a long time ago, you know? Um, so the fact that I'm in this position to where like I have an actual state entity, like I put money into, right? I'm investing into it and seeing doors open. Like your boy is right there. Is it Ray? I think it's Ray. I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah, Ray.
Yeah, shout out to Ray, and I have yet to hit up Ray. Like you've been
You're
connecting
a
me to
hit up
folks.
Ray.
I am. You've been connecting me to folks. There's folks that want me to connect with them, and it's like I'm in the place where I can't say no. I'm in the place where I have to figure it out, and I'm gonna figure it out because it's not.
And
It's
you
not
know,
really because I'm hungry. It's because I
yeah,
want it. I just want it.
yeah. And you know the crazy thing, Daniel, is like I feel like in our what you know, growing up, everybody's like, oh, people want to be like a rapper, or they want to be a basketball player, these things, and they kind of like downplayed it as it wasn't like good enough. But the wild part is like creative music and like people who do be in the studio, like actually doing stuff, like you're that's an engineer.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And like people who are like actually, you know, like creative, like just creating, developing an artist, like that's business. I wish we would embrace it more and not like shame people for it. Like, 'cause I think a lot of times people are like, "Oh, you want to be a rapper?" Like they kind of like trying to doubt, but it's like, no, actually, there's a lot that you can take that as a transferable skill, and if you really figure it out, like there's a lot that you can do with it. Um, so yeah, that just made me think of that just now.
I mean, any form of art is not easy. I think sometimes it's people's self-doubt. They don't believe they could do it. So the first thing I feel like people push on the other people is like, you can't do that. But I think
Right,
they're looking at themselves like, oh shit, well, I can't do it, so you can't. But what I've learned, and I love the reason why I love this process so much too, is that back in the day on MySpace, even my current situation with like Twitter, my current situation with Facebook, I've had followers, I've had likes, but I transitioned into more of a community-based leader, and so I flipped them. So I took away those numbers I had in terms of like artistry as a rapper,
right,
and turned it to like, look at me doing all this wonderful, beautiful community work, right? Now I'm in the mud. Like now I'm building up followers on the artist page, like legit. So I'm going through the grind and I'm appreciating every second and moment of it, right?
right,
And so when it comes to that, like I'm pretty sure my homies, I'm pretty sure my family, I'm pretty sure my friends have yet to buy one of my records or at least stream
mm,
it 2 times a day. But I'm not
yeah.
tripping on that because I'm doing it for them because I
But
understand
still,
what
like
it
we
is.
gotta support each other. I don't know.
I'm
I
I'm
know like you don't gotta trip on it, but I just feel
I'm
like
I'm not saying
we
they
gotta do better.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying they're not supporting, right?
Yeah.
I'm what I'm saying is that that's not where their mind is, right? My mind is there. I'm buying
Right.
records from the homies and they dropped it and didn't even know, like they didn't even tell nobody. Like,
Right.
I have a campaign on my uh project. And so I'm buying records. I'm buying the homie stuff. I'm buying my friend stuff. I'm liking it. I'm saving it. Like, I'm doing all those different things because I understand what it means to create art and for folks to not really want to engage at a certain capacity. And this is the same reason why when it comes down to the Rona packs that I'll be sending out to everybody that engage, it's my thank you off top for just liking something, for just being
Right.
here today on Instagram to just look at it for like 2 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever the case may be.
Right.
Because everything counts, right? And then I agree, we have to stop downplaying folks in the arts. It took me a minute to get past that. Folks want to be basketball stars. That's cool. Folks want to rap. That's cool. Folks want to be scientists. That's cool. So how do we support them from the jump? I would probably be further off where I am now if in the beginning when I told somebody I wanted to rap, they start trying to figure it out. Well, you got to write every day.
Right.
You have to
Right.
write every day if that's what you really want to do, right? And so then we get people like Nipsey Hussle that's from the hood, that's building up the hood, that's buying back the hood, that's doing everything else. Because at one point he realized like I could do something more. And he set himself up for that. And other people around him set him up for that. And look what he was doing. He was doing wonders, right?
Right.
Um, so yeah.
Because music is so important. I think that like to your point, it's just like it's weird that we downplay it when like music is everything. It's always been everything. Like poets, you know what I mean? Like I used to study a lot of stuff from like Somalia and just like even how laws were created was through poetry. Like it's through your artists, right? It's through the
Hmm.
people that weren't confined by like structures and stuff. So like it's weird that we like downplay it or like don't really support people because there is a lot that we can do for the community if we support artists and help them be creative.
I feel like it's also an opportunity to reflect because I know, shout out to Gloria. She played music all day, every day. And I was around her playing music all day, every day. And it was just interesting because I was like, how can somebody play so much music? And I come for that. I play music, but it just got to a point where I just stopped playing music. Like I just didn't want to listen to music. I listened to instrumentals. I didn't want to hear lyrics. And so in terms of art, I had to check myself. Like, where's that coming from? And I realized I had negative connotations connected to music in general. I didn't want to hear certain types of music because it took me back when I was young. It took me back when I was in the hood doing shit. It took me. And so once I realized that, and not necessarily how influential music is, but more so the memories that it could create for an individual, I was like, oh, okay, this is deep. This is real deep
Right.
because I was frowning upon somebody that was like their enjoyment or how they get through, right? And I understand that, right? But in that moment, I just couldn't connect. But when I did my own self-reflection, I was like, bro, that's what it is. You just have these negative moments with the type of music you're listening to. You don't want to listen to music. And so I feel like if we could create more memories through music, through art, our people could get by and do more things, do wonders. And we just need to be able to allow people to create. I mean,
Hmm.
even the up and coming artists now and the new artists now, like I don't really listen to them, but I respect the art that they create because that's the art they want to create. And nobody should be
Hmm.
able to tell somebody, oh, that's not how you create art. Like that's not
Right.
how you create art, but that's how that individual creates art, right?
Yeah. Update number two. All right. Oh, we hit an hour, so I don't want your YouTube to be that long.
We good. So I appreciate you. I appreciate all y'all. I appreciate every last one of you all that tuned in. Um, there's more to come, more music, more features, more ideas, more of me opening up, me speaking my truth, just letting more people in. Um, this is a story that I'm going to tell, and I'm excited for everybody to be a part of it.
Maria
Um,
joined at the end.
what up, Maria? I'm just excited that everybody could take this journey with me. Um, And I hope people find some things that they can latch onto, and I hope people
Mhm.
find records that they want to push. Like, yo, I like this one. I'm pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. Because at the end of the day, I can't be the only one out here pushing stuff. It takes a machine. It takes support. It takes everybody doing their part and playing their role. I mean, my goal necessarily isn't to be like a big mega star, superstar, right? I want to develop other people. But for the time being, I think it'll be cool that one day I could say I sold 1,000 records
Mhm.
online or 500 or 10. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I could sell 50 records or 100 records when the EP drops, I'm I blew past any goal I had. You know what I mean? But I'm only gonna keep it going because I'm here for the long run. I want to see what this takes everybody around me, not just me.
Mhm.
You know?
And I think with that, I feel like, like share his stuff. Like the cool thing about Daniel is like he's making songs that aren't offensive. I don't feel like they are not offensive, that like are storytelling and that he's trying to like develop people and like these are the people that we want to highlight in our community. These are the people that we want to support and uplift. And like the only way we're gonna win is if we support one another. So like stream the song, share the song. You got feedback. If he's asking for it, give him feedback. Buy a sweatshirt. Like we got to start supporting each other. And I'm excited to continue to do these updates with you and yeah, and see the ways in which tech and artistry overlap. And yeah, I'm excited for you.
I thank you for clearing your busy CEO co-founder schedule to do these once a month. You have no idea.
I'm like, thank
Like
Regina.
I know, huh? Thank you, Regina, for making sure it's on the calendar. I appreciate you. Like, you know what I mean? But no, I really appreciate the love and the support that you offer always and forever. I'm always hold that dear because you push, Regina push, Kim push, my mom push, everybody pushes me. So I'm gonna keep on going at the end of the day. And my number one goal, which is kind of cool to say, is that if and when I have kids, I get to be like, look what your dad created. He gave it a
Mhm.
shot. And if this is something you want to do, go ahead and do it. And I'm also have this understanding that if my time was to go tomorrow and let me knock on my desk, I have records there that will outlive me because the internet is forever. And so
Right.
that's really my two goals right there at the end of the day. Yeah, we got 30 seconds left. You know what I mean? So
You said
appreciate
30 seconds.
everybody.
Where you get the 30 seconds from?
Instagram is telling me it's at 24 now. So wrap it
Oh.
up, player. Appetite streaming now on all platforms. Two Brave streaming now on all platforms. Um, Pandora, YouTube, Shazam, Tidal, Spotify, wherever you can go, go get it. Play it for your neighbors, play it for your mama, play it for your daddy, and then